Hello everyone, it is Tuesday, January 23rd, and welcome all my new subscribers, and welcome back all of you who come to see this video. So, what have I been working on? Well, first of all, I just want to say that I have an issue with sometimes comparing my speed of getting things done to other people who seem so prolific. Yeah, you know who you are, you're very prolific. And I'm not that prolific. I tend to work on large projects that take a long time. So, anyhow, what I'm saying is don't compare yourself to anybody and their speed. Just do your own thing at your speed. Yeah, I have to keep telling myself that all the time. So, but what have I been up to? Well, I have finished another scrap blanket to the point where I really used up all my scrap balls, and I'm just about to make a whole bunch of new scrap balls. So I'll probably put together another scrap blanket, but here's a scrap blanket that I did. Well, it's been done for a little while. It'll be donated. I did decide to keep that first one that I made though. So here's the second one. And let me tell you, they are warm. Warm. Anyhow, okay, so I did that one. Then I had bought this pattern and I just had been putting it off to do it. And finally I said, okay, I'm doing it. And this is it. This little gnome. Now, one thing that I did that was different with this amigurumi that I've not really done with my other ones is, well, you can see how much sewing all that would have been. I did not sew it down. It is glued on. Now, you might think, well, I don't want to give something glued down to a kid. This probably will never go to a kid. I don't find kids like gnomes so much as adults. Anyways, he is half of a set. I haven't done the other one. The other one is green, and I'll get to that one eventually. In the meantime, I have bought several other gnome patterns because there's some that have the top of the hat curls over, and I couldn't get one that curled over with the exact design that I wanted, but I needed that curl over to see how many extra rows I needed to put in, and I needed the stripes. Anyways, I'm going to turn one of them into a Christmassy gnome. She has some Christmas gnomes. I'll put her Etsy link below. Her Etsy name is Mufficorn, and she is out of the Ukraine. And most of her designs are gnome designs. So, just so you know. Okay, so let's get into like what I'm currently working on. And that is 2 spring flings. And I'm doing this simultaneously so that, you know, like if I do, say, row 34 on one, I only have to hear the instructions once and I do row 34 on the second one. So that's handy. Okay, so this one is like a partial row ahead because I started it, then I just came back from running errands. Oops, excuse me a second. Okay, I dropped my handy dandy little crochet hook. Okay, so this is as far as I am. It's like, what row is this? Like row 38, I think. Okay, so that's one of them. And this is the other one. So, this one's, they're both attached to 2 skeins of yarn. So different skeins. So I've got 4 skeins of yarn going up here, and it's working out though. It's working out. Okay, so then let's talk about a yarn haul I made. Well, a couple of them, but one is really puny because before Christmas I had a Michael's Rewards, a $10 reward that was expiring on December 22nd, a month ago. And I kept thinking, well, I don't want to place a big Michael's order just to get free shipping so that I can use that. But at the same time, I can't just ask my landlady to borrow her car to run to Michael's so I can use that $10 reward. So I was kind of willing to let it go. And then at the last minute, she was like, I need something out of that same shopping. It's kind of like in a strip mall, this Michael's. There's a Ross Dress for Less and a Kroger and a CVS and, you know, this big long strip mall. And anyways, she said, why don't you go over to Michael's while you're there? So I did, and I didn't want to spend that much. So, and they had, what was the yarn price? It's like buy one, get one 50% off. So really like a total of like 25% off. Big deal. Anyways, so I had the $10 off. I got 4 skeins of yarn. I ended up paying $2.14 for the whole thing. So I got this loops and threads, you know, the old, this is the new version of Craft Smart. And this color, I got 2 of them. And this is leaf green. And then I got 2 in sage. Okay, now you're gonna have to hold on a second while I get the other yarn out because it is a big order. Okay, I am back. Whew. I have a lot of yarn here, so if you're going to hear some clunking, that is me tossing the yarn back into the box that it came from. So, as you probably know, Joann's had a big Yarnormous sale, so I took advantage of it. And let's see what I have here. So, it's all big twist. And this color is Fig. So I got 2 of those. This one is Slime. I got 3 of these and 1 is attached to a spring fling. Now this color would work pretty good if you wanted to do some Grinch stuff. It's not quite as good, nothing will ever be as good in my mind as that old Craft Smart Never Enough in Kiwi. I have 1 skein of that left. So that'll get used for very special projects. But in the meantime, I've got 3 of these. Whoops, I just threw on the wrong one. Okay. Then I ended up getting 4 of these. This is called Merry and Bright. Let's see, what is this one called? This is Plum. Some of these colors I'd never had before, so I was willing to try them out. This one is Forest Green. It's not as bright as it's looking in the camera. It's actually more like, it's just darker and duller. I don't even have a light directly over me, but okay, so that's Forest Green. How many of those did I get? Looks like I got 4 of those. And this is a color I didn't have. This is Olive Drab. Looks a little more olive in the picture, but because it's kind of a very gray olive. Okay, let's see. And this is, what is this? Oh, Varsity Yellow. Got a couple of those. And this one is Varsity Gold. This is another color that I'd never bought before, called Mushroom. I got 2 of those. Oh, here's the other slimes. They can go in there. And this is another Olive Drab. And this one is Titanium Gray. So I got 2 of those. And what's this one here? I should have another one. I do. Light green. So I got 2 of those. In all, I got like 28 skeins. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yep, okay. I guess that's it. So, that is my yarn haul. Now, let's talk about gardening for a second, because I found the most interesting thing on one of my trees. And at first when I saw it, I thought, oh, my tree has got some kind of fungus, which is something you always worry about with citrus trees. And I took a closer look at it and I was like, no, that's a caterpillar. And so I posted the picture of the caterpillar to one of my Facebook gardening groups. And I said, who can identify this? And it came back that it is a giant western swallowtail caterpillar. Excuse me. So I'm going to put a picture of that right here. It's supposed to look a little bit like bird poop to keep birds away from it. So what I did was I said, I'm just going to rescue this guy. He probably didn't really need rescuing, but I rescued him, put him in a container with lots of branches to let him do his thing. And in the meantime, I sent the picture to a friend in Florida. Hi, Mary. And she helped me also identify it. I guess they're called yellow dogs in Florida. And she has raised them. So she told me, you know, what to do and what to expect. And so he ate for about at least a week. And he was doing really good, just munching away, but he was very slow, which is what they are. They're kind of slow and not real voracious eaters. And at night he would crawl up onto the side of the container and just sleep, and then he'd go back down as soon as the light came up and start eating again. And then I came in maybe after like 10 days, and he had attached himself to the side of the wall with silk, you know, caterpillar silk. And he wasn't eating and he wasn't moving, but he didn't look like he was forming a chrysalis. But so for 48 hours, nothing. Then I got up in the morning yesterday and boom, he had formed his chrysalis. So now I just have to wait for like 2 or 3 weeks for it to emerge. Now supposedly the females can have wingspans of like 5 inches and the males like 7 inches. But with this guy, this little thing, that chrysalis is pretty small. So I don't see how it's going to be this giant butterfly. But we will see. At any rate, it made me think, well, maybe I should get a bona fide critter cage for the future. So I think I will. Thanks for that also, Mary. And the other day, the temperature was just perfect for me to work outside. It was overcast. It was about 60 degrees. If it's too hot, I get hives. If it's too cold, I get hives. The cold hives are much worse. So I just have to wait for like the exact right temperature. And so I repotted 4 of my plants, or 4 of my trees. One of them, my little Australian finger lime, had grown a root through the bottom of the pot and into the ground. Now that tree was only about 2 years old, but it had definitely outgrown the original pot I put it in. So now it's in, well, I put it in like maybe a 1.5 gallon pot when I first transplanted it from the nursery pot, because it was in this tall, skinny nursery pot. And so now it's like in a 10-gallon pot. And all the trees are in maybe a 10-gallon pot. And so that gives them plenty of room, because all my trees that I purchased were just little twigs almost. Just very, very small. In fact, the Australian finger lime had 1 branch going up and 1 branch going to the side, just kind of like a wild hair. And now it's kind of like a little bush, and it's got tons of little fruits on it. And I ate one yesterday. Very interesting. You couldn't make a meal out of them, but they're just kind of like a novelty fruit. It was only about the size of the last 2 digits of my little pinky. And, you know, different varieties of Australian finger lime produce different sizes of fruit. And this one apparently produces small ones. Anyhow, I transplanted my azalea, my finger lime, my Owari Satsuma mandarin, and my key lime. Oh, and my Owari Satsuma gave me 2 fruits this year, and I picked them recently and I ate them and they were just fine. So that's it on the gardening front. It's just been so rainy lately that I haven't done a whole lot of gardening. I still need to do probably 3 or 4 more repotting of things that have outgrown their pots. So I'll have to wait for another day for that. Plus I need to get more soil. Anyhow, that's kind of what is going on in my world and my crochet world. So remember, don't compare yourself to other crocheters. You just go at your own pace, and whatever you do is just fine. And yes, I have to remind myself that every day I pick up the hook. So anyways, have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.